dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
A voice for the new right, charting a new path forward for American conservatism. It's the Josh Hammer Show.
What is the alternative to engaging with your political opponents? To hearing out their criticism in as happy warrior-like fashion as you can have it. The day that we replace that with, God forbid, with violence, that's how republics die. There is nothing good down that road.
The Josh Hammer Show on the Salem Podcast Network. Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
U.S. home prices rose in October, but at the slowest annual rate in more than 13 years. Government data show home prices went up just 1.7% last month from a year earlier. It's another positive sign in a housing market that's been too expensive for many would-be homebuyers. It's a changing of the guard at Berkshire Hathaway. Greg Abel is taking over this week from the legendary Warren Buffett. Investors will be watching closely to see what changes Abel might make in Berkshire's trajectory, but they don't expect any seismic shifts. On Wall Street, stocks traded in negative territory most of the day and finished slightly lower at the closing bell. The S&P 500 dropped a fraction, down for a third session in a row. The Nasdaq was off by 55 points, while the Dow Industrials lost 95 for a 0.2% loss. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Greg Clugston.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and very chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to just 25 degrees. Tomorrow, another beautiful day. Plentiful sunshine. A bit warmer. High temperatures up to 54. For Thursday, it's New Year's Day. We'll welcome in 2026 with sunshine and a high of 59. On Friday, mostly cloudy. We have a slight 20% chance we get a shower and a high topping out at 61. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
Well, you know, it's good to know that Dabo Swinney is a loyal listener to Sports Talk, because why else would he think about going out and hiring Chad Morris to be his new offensive coordinator? You might recall, ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago here on Sports Talk, when Shane Beamer was looking for a new offensive coordinator. What name did I throw out there, Plummer? Oh, Plummer, you got a haircut. Good gracious. That thing, did they use like the oversized blade on you? Good gracious. That's
it's
a good
not,
looking.
It's not
that's
good.
A good
it's
look.
Terrible.
That's a good look for you. That's a good look for you.
It really is bad. I really don't like it.
Handsome guy. Anyway, yeah, we said, you know, why not Chad Morris? And, of course, and we were also, I think, one of the first to throw out there Cade Bell for South Carolina as well. Of course, he ended up going with Kendall Briley, who we also, of course, were the first ones to tell you that there was serious interest there. Anyway,
now you don't get fined yet, but you just called him Briley, Kendall Briley. So you're not going to get fined yet, because we still have a couple days.
Kendall Briles. Yep. Yeah, I still have. What's today? Today's the 30th.
That's correct. Yep. So
I got today and tomorrow to get all my errors out of my system before I have to fine myself.
Yes,
$1 per error.
The jar is ready.
So anyway, it does. Based on reporting by Larry Williams of Tiger Illustrated, it does look like Chad Morris is going to be the new offensive coordinator at Clemson as of today. And why wouldn't Dabo Swinney turn the clock back and bring back somebody that he knows well, who works well with him, and has a record of putting together explosive offenses and developing quarterbacks and doing great things with quarterbacks. So that appears to be where that situation is moving, and it'll probably move pretty quickly because Chad Morris doesn't work for anybody, so he's free to join Clemson anytime. They can get that done in a heartbeat. Interesting, too, that David Hood reported on TigerNet that during the season prior to the Florida State game, the week of the Florida State game, because he is free to move around, that Chad Morris spent time that week at Clemson. Working with the Tigers, overseeing some things with the Tigers, looking at some things with the Tigers as they were preparing for Florida State. So there you go. That sounds like it's going to be a pretty much an open and shut case for Dabo Swinney in hiring his new offensive coordinator. Nothing official yet, but it's certainly, according to Larry Williams, the Tiger Illustrated is moving quickly in that direction. So who ends up winning the offensive coordinator chase, the Gamecocks or the Tigers? Kendall Briles at South Carolina, and looks like Chad Morris at Clemson. So interesting what's turned out to be the situations there. Looking forward to having Chalk Talk with us tonight. I know we've got Coach Ellis Johnson lined up to be with us. I'm not sure if we'll have Coach Chuck Reedy, who might be on one of his multiple holiday vacations in the Caribbean. So I don't know. He didn't tell us he would not be with us last week. So who knows? We might be able to connect with him. If not, we'll have Ellis Johnson. We're coming to you live tonight from the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, which is the home of the Beach Ball Classic, the granddaddy of the holiday basketball tournaments for high school teams, for high-level high school teams. And tonight is the championship night for the Beach Ball Classic. Right now we've got a game going on. This is the championship game taking place right now in what's called the prep school division. This thing, of course, has gotten so big. And, of course, basketball has evolved to the point where you got so many different levels of teams and competition. So we've got like the prep school division going on right now, the prep school championship taking place as we speak, and then they have the traditional championship game for the traditional teams coming up following this one. To help explain all that to us in a few minutes will be the one, the only, the bad boy of Sports Talk Radio, Alan Smothers, who has been a long-time member of the Beach Ball Committee, handles the media, does play-by-play on their stream, and this is like his baby. I mean, he's got his radio show and he does high school football television, but this is like his, he's one of the mover and shakers of this event that was started, I don't know what, I have to go back and look, 30-something years ago. Started off over at Sockasty High School, I believe, with the high school folks doing it, and then John Rhodes, who became the mayor of Myrtle Beach, but was a big booster of basketball, big supporter of basketball. They took it here to Myrtle Beach, the convention center, and then they started bringing in like some of the biggest names in high school basketball, some of the biggest teams in high school basketball from across the country. And, I mean, look, things are different now. They used to pack this place every night with, I don't know, a few thousand people. Not going to be the case here tonight. Hasn't been the case for a while, just because there's so many of these things and there's so many things to do now. And it's harder to get these teams to come in. I mean, it's, you got to kind of wine them and dine them, and you got to, I don't know if you have to put money in their pockets per se, but you got to take good care of them if you're going to get some of these teams that have guys about to step into the NBA, for example, to come play in your tournament. And the competition to get these teams into your tournament also has increased because there's so many tournaments like it. Well, not just in South Carolina, of course, but around the country. But the state of South Carolina, we're blessed with a number of outstanding high school basketball holiday tournaments. But this one was the first. This one was the granddaddy, you could say, that kind of started it all off. And it's still running after all these years. And we've done the show here in the past. Typically, we're not able to be here for a show, to do a show during the Beach Ball Classic. And why is that? Because typically we're at a bowl game somewhere around New Year's Day. Not this year. Not this year, with Clemson playing on Saturday and South Carolina not playing at all in a bowl game, freed us up to be here. So glad to be here. Appreciate the folks making some room and taking care of us here as we're sitting actually courtside. And this is a great experience to be sitting courtside because we don't get that opportunity very much anymore when you're covering college basketball. They sit you up in the rafters. So we're courtside and happy to be here watching some high school basketball. Now, South Carolina is playing basketball tonight. The Gamecocks are playing the University of Albany, the Great Danes, and it's the final tune-up for them before they get into SEC play. So they need a good performance to kind of get their minds right, get their heads right as they get ready to go into SEC play, which for them will begin with a top 20 team in Vanderbilt in Columbia on Saturday. So Gamecocks are leading 17-6. They're at the 13:41 mark of the first half, and the Gamecocks have just gone on a 9-0 run to kind of open this thing. They forced some turnovers, so they need some guys to have a good performance to kind of build some confidence as they get ready to go into SEC play. I mean, the Gamecocks, based on what we've seen so far, they need to they got to play a lot better if they're not going to repeat their performance. They're not going to repeat their performance of last season in the SEC. They're going to have to really step it up and play a lot better than they have to this point in the season. So they're off to a good start. Meantime, the last football team standing in South Carolina, Coastal Carolina, the last football team standing this season, Coastal Carolina, goes down to defeat to Louisiana Tech in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. They fall 23-14, shut out in the second half, outscored 20-14 in the second half. They led 14-3 at halftime and had a lot of momentum going their way and was looking pretty good for them. But then in the second half, the defense by Louisiana Tech was too strong for them. They couldn't do much of anything in the second half. So 23-14, the final score. Tad Hudson, the quarterback, was 25 of 49 for 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The Chanticleers had a tough time protecting him. He was sacked. He was only sacked once, but he had 23 yards lost running the football. So it wasn't so much protecting him when he was dropping back, but they did have 8 tackles for loss, Louisiana Tech did. And they had 2 sacks. I'm sorry, he was sacked twice. I believe I was listening to Chris Bergen doing the play-by-play. Well, I can go in here and check the scoring. I'm thinking that Louisiana Tech had a big play or two, like a pick six or a punt return or something. They had some big scoring plays like that. But anyway, Coastal not able to hold on to the lead, and they lose 23-14. They only gave up 295 yards, but again, I think Louisiana Tech had some explosive plays and did not have to rely on long drives to move the football. So, end of the season for Coastal Carolina. Of course, now they welcome in their new coaching staff and get to work on next year, as so many programs around the country are doing just that, as they've changed coaches, filling in jobs with offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, and Coastal Carolina going through the same thing with their change in their coaching staff after Tim Beck was fired late in the season. Okay, so we got a lot to do tonight here on Sports Talk. You can join us. Phone number 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Also, send us a text message, and that number is 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. We'll read your text messages, those that are readable, Some are not readable. Some are not acceptable. Some make no sense. But those that do qualify to be read, we'll read those as they come in tonight, and we'll take your phone calls. Phone number again, 888-898-2525, and we'll be right back.
It might be tough to picture your kid in college today, but it'll be here before you know it. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to start saving right now. You can start with any amount. Savings grow tax-free, and friends and family can chip in too. Discover the smart, easy way to save today at FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your wreck case or any on-the-job injury. Call 803-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett, or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network, here on a Tuesday night. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Want to remind you, too, of course, we're down here at the beach. A little bit of a work vacation here during the holiday season. It's been beautiful down here. A little bit cooler today, but the temperature is still moderate enough to get out and enjoy yourself around the beach with everything the beach has to offer for you. Remind you that if you are looking to get to the beach for a little getaway, maybe a long vacation, maybe a permanent move, make sure you give Jimmy Smith a call at James Smith Real Estate. That phone number is 843-237-4246. It's 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. And let Jimmy and the staff work with you on that perfect beach getaway. They'll find you the location that you need at the price that you need as well. Phone number again, 843-237-4246 for your perfect beach getaway, pauliesvacationrentals.com and James Smith Real Estate. All right, so checking on a few other things of interest. We talked about what's going on there with Clemson, looking like Chad Morris, the leader in the clubhouse is how they put it, the front runner right now. With the way they're writing it and talking about it, I mean, I got to believe that their information has taken them to the point where they feel like it's going to be done for Chad Morris at Clemson, which takes us to our poll question of the week, which involves, of course, Clemson and Dabo Swinney coming off a 7-6 record. After the loss in the bowl game, our poll question of the week brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance in Columbia and Lexington. Be sure to call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance needs. So after this season of 7-6, what did you think was the number one course of action for Dabo Swinney to turn Clemson around in 2026? A, fire several coaches. B, recruit at least 10 portal transfers, including a quarterback. C, stay the course because he believes they aren't far off. Well, majority of the voters believe he needs to recruit at least 10 out of the portal, including a quarterback. That's at 37.9%. And then 31% each believe he should fire people and he should also stay the course. So the portal's going to be, interesting to watch. It opens up on January 2nd. I think on January 2nd, which is Friday, you're going to see a lot of announcements by transfers about where they're going to be heading, because I think deals are already being firmed up all across the country. And if you're not, even though you technically, I guess it's against the rules, but who's following the rules? And I find it interesting. We see basketball coaches in particular, but some football coaches as well, coming out and saying, we got to have some rules in place. We got to have some leadership. We got to have somebody put the rules in place. I think you got coaches out there who want to do it the right way, who don't want to so-called cheat, if there is anything such as cheating out there anymore, because there are no rules. If there are no rules, how can you be cheating? But, I think there are coaches out there who still want to try to do things professionally and the right way, but they're pressured not to because so many others are getting the jump on them and getting the advantage in recruiting the portal by going ahead and dealing with the agents, the slime balls, the slimy agents out there. That's the other thing. There are so many slime balls serving as agents for kids. Guys that probably, couldn't tell you the percent, what 50% of a dollar is. Yet they're able to go out there and negotiate a contract for their cousin or somebody they played ball with in high school, or they're just slime balls. And they're coming out of the woodwork. They're like bees to honey, and it's really kind of, everybody's got to make a living. I get that, but man, you talk about taking advantage of a situation and being more interested. I would say in a lot of cases, I think being more interested in their own self-preservation than the client's own good with some of the. Look, if you got guys just constantly transferring, listening to their agents and constantly transferring, that's not good. That's not good for the player. It's not good for his development. Trying to find that place where you think you're going to step in and be the man and be a starter and own the team and own the locker room. It's just not that easy. And so we see players go to a school and even transfer out before they even get through their first year on the campus. And who's telling them to do that? Who's telling them, you need to go somewhere else? You're not going to make it here. You're not going to get a chance here. I've already talked to other people for you. Let's go here. That's not the best for the football. I'm talking primarily football players because of the need for development in football, the need to being in a system together. Unless that's no longer important, maybe that's no longer such a big deal. But you're going to see so many of these players now announcing starting on Friday. And, of course, deals are already being put together and signed off on. So, yeah, it's going to be a flood. There's already over 3,000 names in the transfer portal, John. 3,000. Which also leads you to believe is how could you be so wrong? How could so many be so wrong coming out of high school? They're admitting they choose the wrong place, or the coaches are choosing the wrong players. I don't know. It's when you go and you just quit on a place after a year or even half a year, and that just tells me that somebody's making a mistake in judgment. And they do have the option to correct it. They've been given that opportunity, and they're flat out taking advantage of it. And, it's created quite a mess all around college athletics. So that'll be coming up on January 2nd. And it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild when that happens. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And look, South Carolina and Clemson they're going to be heavily involved. They got to be heavily involved. You have no choice now but to be heavily involved. And Clemson is really one of the last of the big boys to stick their toe into the deep end of the pool when it comes to the portal, John. Yeah, they took 3 last year, and you know what? They benefited from those 3. And 3 for 3, that's a heck of a percentage coming out of the portal. You know, look at South Carolina, for example. I'm not so sure they did. I mean, I'd kind of give them for their portal recruiting, for the impact on this past season. I mean, I don't know that you would say that they did great. They had some guys who shined for them and will be sticking around. But, I mean, on the offensive line, you look at Sharp. He came in, and he was 1 year and done. You look at Newsom. He came in. He's 1 year and done. So they've had, when you bring a guy in from the portal, unless he's out of eligibility, you know, you definitely don't want to have that expense and go to all that effort just to have a guy for a year. You know, you want him, as long as he's got eligibility, you want him to be good enough to stay with you and be a part of your program for at least a couple of years. Now, there's some players there in South Carolina that's going to be the case. Jacobs, the wide receiver, it looks like he's staying around, and that looks like a successful pickup out of the portal. Some of the defensive guys who they brought in through the portal, they're hanging around in the program, and they've hit on some there. But, boy, the offensive line, I would say maybe from a portal standpoint, you know, more misses than hits. You know, 2 of the guys that look like they're staying around are guys that they were kind of in and out of the lineup, but they weren't great players by any means. So South Carolina they're going to hit the portal hard. And as far as the offensive line is concerned, they've got to do a better job of evaluating the talent and finding, you know, better offensive linemen who are willing to come to South Carolina and play for them, because that is the number one area of need on this football team. We'll take a look at the roster when we come back, but that offensive line has just got to be totally reimagined with a new offensive line coach and a new offensive coordinator. Okay, we're hitting the bottom of the hour break. It is Sports Talk from the Beach Ball Classic here in Myrtle Beach, and we'll be back in just a moment.
On Point Weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and very chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to just 25 degrees. Tomorrow, another beautiful day. Plentiful sunshine. A bit warmer. High temperatures up to 54. For Thursday, it's New Year's Day. We'll welcome in 2026 with sunshine and a high of 59. On Friday, mostly cloudy. We have a slight 20% chance we get a shower and a high topping out at 61. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the deportation of South Sudanese immigrants in the U.S. The decision Tuesday comes as the Massachusetts court reviews whether President Trump's attempt to end their temporary protected status was illegal. The termination was set for January 2026, affecting about 300 South Sudanese nationals. President Trump has indicated that the U.S. has set a dock facility along a shore as he wages a pressure campaign on Venezuela. But the U.S. offers few details. Trump initially seemed to confirm a strike in what appeared to be an impromptu radio interview Friday. When questioned Monday by reporters about an explosion in Venezuela, the president said the U.S. struck a facility where boats accused of carrying drugs load up. This is SRN News.
Are you tired of that sinking feeling when the electric bill arrives? Does the phrase peak hours trigger anxiety and a headache? Do you suffer from chronic fatigue of watching your hard-earned money evaporate right into the power grid? You may be suffering from utility pain and anxiety disorder, or UPAD. Symptoms include sweating when running the AC, a fear of turning on lights, and a general feeling of powerlessness over your energy costs.
It's time for you to try Solaris from Ken at Broker Solar. Broker Solar isn't a temporary fix, but a lasting solution with cutting-edge solar technology designed to address high energy bills at their source. Many clients have experienced immediate relief from high monthly payments with reports of increased home value and greater financial freedom. Imagine a brighter future for your home and your wallet. Side effects include the freedom to use your appliances when you want and a powerful sense of energy independence. Broker Solar, a brighter outlook for your home and wallet. Call us now, 803-807-7417. That's 807-7417 or online at brokersolar.com.
When your temperatures swing, your comfort shouldn't. At Sweet Comfort Services, we make sure your system's ready for anything. Get our $99 preventative maintenance, a full inspection and tune-up that keeps your equipment efficient, reliable, and safe. Thinking it's time for an upgrade? We offer estimates on new Goodman and American Standard systems. You'll get honest advice, fair pricing, and expert installation. No gimmicks, no surprises. Call 803-331-8143 or visit sweetcomfortservices.com to schedule today.
How important is a good night's sleep? It's vital. Best Mattress is a local treasure. 97 years in the Midlands, family owned, with every mattress made here. Are you seriously going to order what you sleep on every night off the internet without trying it in person? There's 3 convenient locations for you to visit, so we can ask you the right questions and let you test the right mattress. In West Columbia, on Divine Street, or our newest showroom in Lexington near the amphitheater. bestmattress.net.
If you're feeling the weight of the world, how about visiting Spa MD in West Columbia? Marcy and her team can provide that perfect massage for individuals or even a couple. Lainey's been several times. She comes home completely revitalized. For a gift, if you're in the doghouse, or just because you love her, check out their options at visitspamd.com or call 251-9400. Leave your stress behind because you know what? You deserve this getaway. Spa MD, 251-9400.
This fall, discover a place where friendly faces greet you at the door. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington. Greg Lynette and their welcoming team make every visit a breeze with expert advice and genuine hometown care. No more endless aisles or big box blues. Just quality products and people who want to know your name. For every project, big or small, find what you need and a neighborly smile at 2028 Augusta Highway. Shop local. Shop happy. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington.
She says we gotta hold on to what we've got. It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. We'll give it a shot. Oh, we're halfway there.
Okay, we're back at Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Let me be the first to wish you a Happy New Year. If nobody else has already wished you a Happy New Year, we'll be the first to do that. Of course, we still have the rest of tonight and tomorrow. So I guess, much like Christmas, Plumber, this would be Adam, New Year's Adam, right? This would be New Year's Adam, and tomorrow is New Year's Eve, correct?
I suppose, yeah. Or just 2 days until New Year's. Two days until the end of the year.
Well, I mean, you're the one that started that. You're the one that.
Oh, no, I did not start that. Come on,
well, I
Phil.
mean, I had never heard that before until you brought it up on the show, so.
I don't know what you want me to say. It's always been New Year's or Christmas Adam and Christmas Eve and then Christmas
I've never heard
Day.
that before. Never heard it.
Technically, New Year's Eve is not even really a thing because Eve is a Christian thing, I suppose. So. Just the day before New Year's. Yeah,
I think you're just making stuff up.
I'm definitely not. I mean, New Year, because it's Adam and Eve, right? So why would it be New Year's Eve? I don't know.
No, the word Eve is not.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just making stuff up. You're right.
You're right. You're lying. I mean, you're.
I'm not
totally
lying. I'm
lost.
not lying.
No, you're totally.
I'm not lying.
The word Eve means like the day before. If you looked up the definition, it would see it's not Eve as in the Bible. It's Eve as in that's the day before something. It's the eve of something.
I got you.
The eve of
okay.
But it's not, but it just happens to be the lady's name in the Bible was Eve, and so you're bringing the two together when it's not necessary. A couple of quick notes here that are important. The NCAA president, Charlie Baker, the NCAA still has a president. He said today that the NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning. Why do they still say student athletes? Can we just stop that and just call them athletes? So, will not grant eligibility to any prospective athletes who have signed an NBA contract. Okay? Let's see how that works in court. How about this? Boy, Lane Kiffin, I see why it's hard to like the guy. It's hard to like the guy. You try to cut him some slack, and you try to, give him some grace. It says here, in an unprecedented situation, 6 LSU assistants are coaching Ole Miss in its biggest game ever. Tampering is afoot, officials say. This is by Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. Trust is wavering, and things could get weirder. Lane Kiffin may attend the Sugar Bowl with Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry. I mean, he just couldn't politely, after Ole Miss said, no, we don't want you to coach. Maybe it wasn't a good idea by Ole Miss to keep the assistants on board, but they were trying to maintain some level of consistency in the program for their players, so they have a chance to win in the playoffs instead of having to bring in all new people. I get, Ole Miss is the one that's sort of caught in the middle here. They're trying to win a national championship, and Lane Kiffin is messing with them. And shame on him for doing that. Shame on him, but no one should be surprised. Ted Roof, who spent some time at Clemson as an analyst, expected to be named the new defensive coordinator at Boston College. Northwestern is expected to hire Chip Kelly as a new offensive coordinator, sources telling On3 Sports. Arkansas is set to announce a deal with the Link U, which is centered on helping the school drive above the cap NIL dollars. Sources told the Sports Business Journal. The agreement makes the 4th Power 4 school to work with that organization, Texas A&M, Houston, and Georgia Tech. So, announcing a deal with the Link U centered on helping the school drive above the cap NIL dollars. Okay, so I guess you're talking about helping the school. There's the cap, your salary, your revenue share cap, and this is to help, if I'm understanding this, help the school get more money above that cap through the NIL side of bringing in the money. I guess that's what that means. It really has. I don't care what you say. It's never been like this. I mean, the entire world of college sports now is about nothing but getting money for the players. That's what it's become. It's never been like that before. I mean, yes, I know deals have been done going back forever and money under the table. I know that, going back forever. But it's never been where everybody in a leadership role in your athletic department thinks of nothing but how can we get more money for the players. Money, money, money. How can we get more money for the players? It used to be how can we raise money for scholarships to educate the players? Or how can we raise money for a new locker room or a new cafeteria or improvements to our facilities? That's what the money raising before. How about we want to put artificial surface in our stadium? We got to raise the money from our fans. But now it's all about raising money to give to the players constantly. It's all they think about. It's all they talk about now. I mean, I guess that's the world that's been created for them. I don't think they asked for it. And it's the world that they live in now because of what the courts have ruled. The court should have been smarter. The court should have been smarter. The NCAA should have been smarter somewhere back down the line. There should have been a way to avoid all this. But they weren't, and there wasn't, and that's where we are today. The bad boy will join us in just a second. I missed him last night because the plumber took the phone call. The plumber went on the air and took the phone call ahead of me. So I didn't get a chance to talk to Keith in Camden and wish him a Happy New Year, but he's back with us. Welcome in, Keith. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Phil. How you doing tonight?
Great. Doing great.
Well, look, I wanted to call the tweet. I mean, that thing just kind of chapped me. I've been listening to you from the day you started, and the one thing I can say is you've always been supportive, complimentary of both universities and all the collegiate colleges in the state. And it just goes to show that, Shane's a great cheerleader, but I've tried to – I listen to you every night, but I've tried to call wonderful Todd Ellis and his talk show, and they screen it so at the end of the day, he doesn't want the difficult questions, and when you hurt his feelings, he does what he did the other day, and I hated to see that. But, can't manage the clock. I wonder what he does other than just welcome people home, but I hope it works out. But that really, I don't blame you. You were a lot nicer than I'd have been.
Well, I appreciate that, and Happy New Year to you. I ain't mad.
You too, my friend.
I ain't mad at him. It comes with the territory. You got to take the zings that come your way, whether it's from a coach or whether it's from a caller or whether it's from somebody on social media, whatever the case may be. I'm good with that. Like I've said repeatedly in talking about this when it's brought up, the only reason I responded was because he implied that I did that tweet for clicks. Okay, and to me, when you're talking about a reporter, when you're talking about somebody who's in the media, I know there's a lot out there who only do things for clicks. I mean, they live for clicks. They get paid for clicks. They make their money because of clicks. I get that. They want to be sensationalistic, and they want to be the loudest person on social media, be heard, be seen. It's how they make their living. I understand that. That's not how we make our living, Our living is about having honest discussions about sports issues that pertain to the sports fans in South Carolina. And we augment that by putting stuff on social media because that is the most immediate way until we go on the air. That's the most immediate way of putting stuff out there. And like I said, I didn't seek out information in this particular case. It was just sort of dropped in my lap. And I don't think there was anything that I tweeted that was anything negative about South Carolina in any way. And so I don't understand the reaction from the head football coach who's probably got a lot more important things to be dealing with than what somebody like me puts on Twitter or X. But the fact that he put a little hashtag in there, simply for clicks, that was below the belt as far as I was concerned and deserved a response from me to set that record straight. And, I'm not – let me just say, I don't have to take anything off of any coaches, okay? I don't. I think the beautiful thing about what we are as a show, what our show is, I'm not comparing us to anybody else, but we're under nobody's thumb. We're not owing to anybody. We don't get information from coaching staffs. We don't seek information from coaching staffs, so they don't own us. You take something from coaches, like the information that you want to put out, and you get it from your inside sources in a coaching staff or whatever, they're going to own you. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. If you want to continue to be fed, you're going to have to play by their rules. Well, we don't live in that world anymore, so we don't have to do that. And so there's not a coach out there that can intimidate me. And if I'm wrong on something and they call me out on it, I'll correct it. If I know I'm wrong, I'll correct it. But I don't believe I'm wrong in this particular case based on the information I know and the information that's come out since. So I really don't know what the issue was, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. All right, thank you very much. Have yourself a happy holiday. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number for you here on Sports Talk. We're going to hit the break, and when we come back, we're going to have a visit with Alan Smothers, the bad boy of Sports Talk Radio. Now, you want to talk to somebody who won't take any crap off of anybody. That's the bad boy. All right, now, you're not coming on here and using bad language, by the way, bad boy. We're keeping it clean. Yeah, we're keeping it clean, yeah. All right, Alan Smothers, obviously heavily involved here with the Beach Ball Classic. He'll talk more about where we are in this thing, talk about what he's got coming up, and we'll be back.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Touchstone Energy Cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5. We are back on Sports Talk on this Tuesday night. We're at the Beach Ball Classic. It's the championship night of the Beach Ball Classic, winding up once again here at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. Got a game going on right now in one of the divisions for a championship, and one more game to come up later on tonight. Let's welcome in to our Sports Talk microphones courtside. Very familiar voice, very familiar face, very familiar name. He's known as the bad boy of Sports Talk Radio, not just in the PD Grand Strand, not just in South Carolina, but around the world. He is Alan Smothers.
The world famous, no question. Great to have you courtside here at the 45th Annual Beach Ball Classic. I've been a part of this for 35 years.
Wow.
So this is my 35th championship game that I will call in 36 years of being a part of the Beach Ball Classic Committee.
Tell us how it's changed over the years. From the time it was started by
Dan D'Antoni.
Dan D'Antoni, and then John Rhodes got involved.
Yep.
And the thing really grew huge.
He took it to the next level.
And then, unfortunately, he passed away.
2002.
So where are we with things?
Well, Chad Smith and Ashley Gasperson now are the president and vice president. Chad is right behind you with the oldest member of the committee. He's sitting to your right. Not the oldest per se, maybe, but the longest tenured. Thank you, Joe. Longest tenured committee member He's been on the committee probably 5 years, longer than I have. And but he is very instrumental, as is Paul Edwards, who used to run this building.
Who is
a
from
Latta legend.
Yep.
You two are the third and fourth most influential members of the Latta community.
Who are the other two?
Big Raymond and
Little Raymond. I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
What was that like to see Latta? I was not here, unfortunately. What was that like to watch Little Latta? I mean, a school of maybe 400 people from 9 through 12,
right,
from a town of 1,200 people, take down DeMatha in this tournament many years ago. I still call it one of the greatest upsets, if not the greatest upset in high school basketball history.
It may be the biggest upset in high school basketball history. Latta defeated DeMatha with the famed Morgan Wooten as the head coach. And this building, now you're looking behind us, it's something less than capacity today.
Yeah.
But it was at capacity
and beyond
that night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Raymond Felton was a superstar. He was a magnet attraction. Every game he played in, whether it was in the Latta gym or somewhere else, every game he played in, the place was packed. And you go, I mean, when he played for the state championship game, when they played Hunter Conner Tyler in his senior year for the state championship at the Carolina Coliseum, 11,666. I think that was the attendance.
I think the attendance here then, we have lowered some of our brought in stands on the end zones and behind us. There's permanent stands on the opposite side of the floor.
Yeah.
But behind us and on the end zones, they used to go way up. And at that time, probably 6,500, and you couldn't buy a ticket.
Yeah.
That night against DeMatha and the night that Raymond played Sebastian Telfair in this building, there was a 365-degree photo of the entire building, and they were hanging from the rafters.
Yeah.
And Raymond has been our biggest probably draw of anybody. You know, Kobe Bryant's been here. Grant Hill's been here. I mean, you wouldn't have enough time on this show to do the Who's Who Hall of Fame of the Beach Ball Classic. But Raymond is the biggest, and he actually brought his high school team, and he coaches in Texas now, back here last year to coach in this event. So Raymond is a close friend, and so the Latta legend. And his dad was a bigger legend than him, from what I understand.
Well, his dad was a great player, teammate of mine, but Junior surpassed him in the legendary status.
Well, I can imagine.
You know.
He played 20 years in the NBA.
Yeah.
So.
All right, what's going on? Where are we at in the tournament today?
We are in the championship game of the prep school division. We have two divisions, 8 teams in the traditional division, 8 teams in the prep school division. And these are the two prep school champion contenders. The defending Beach Ball Classic Prep School champion is CIA Bella Vista in white. They are from Phoenix, Arizona. And Moravian Prep from just outside of Hickory, North Carolina, is they are playing without their head coach tonight.
Where's he?
He is at the South Carolina Gamecocks basketball game to watch his son, Eli Ellis. And his younger son, Isaac is on this team, and he is terrific, already committed to our friend Pat Kelsey at Louisville.
After decommitting
from the Gamecocks.
Yeah. So the head coach
is not with the team tonight.
Wow.
That's
kind of interesting.
Yeah, I
understand.
Ralph Patterson, the former head coach at Erskine College and our longtime friend. He's doing the game on air right now with our friend Tyler Watkins. He is doing the game, and he asked me, so what do you think about Jeremy Ellis not being here? I said, well, I guess he doesn't get a very often chance to see Eli play, so he's at the Gamecocks game. Well, instead of playing for a championship here.
They're only up, I say only, they're up 48-33 on Albany, and Eli is, he's got 2 points. He's 1 of 3, 0 for 2. The Gamecocks have hit 9 of 20 from 3 in the first half. So, hey, I get it. Family, father, yeah. If the team's okay with it,
Well, he's very successful. I mean,
yeah.
I think they're undefeated coming in, and they defeated Winston-Salem Christian a couple of times, whose coach started the Moravian Prep program, and Moravian Prep beat Notre Dame out of Connecticut last night in the semifinals. And the team they're playing, CIA Bella Vista, hit a 40-foot shot off the backboard at the buzzer to win 72-71 to get here, or Winston-Salem Christian and Moravian Prep would be playing each other.
That would have
right
been
now.
something.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got coming up tonight?
I've got my championship game as the traditional school, the public school championship, if you will. North Crowley, Texas. Tommy Brackle with his third team coming here. Over 800 wins in his career. 27 years as the head coach at his hometown school. He was coaching at Crowley High School when they divided, and North Crowley named him head coach. He was the assistant, and he's been the only head coach they've had there for 27 years, and has won a state championship. You know how hard that is.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin Lutheran from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with the Knipple brothers.
The Knipples.
Yeah. The Knipple. Cager Knipple is his younger brother. Is that a great name for a basketball player or not?
That's a great name.
Cager Knipple, Cash Knipple, and Kinston Knipple are all on the Wisconsin Lutheran team, who are ranked number 1 in the state of Wisconsin and number 14 in the nation. They are 8-0, and they have won 4 state championships under head coach Ryan Walls.
No, they're not triplets. They're not all the same
No.
Yeah.
Cager is a junior, Cash is a freshman, and Kinston is a sophomore.
Got them spread out there.
And they actually have an 8th grader, they say, that may be better than them all. And they'll all be about 6'9", 6'10", 6'11".
How many Knipples can you have?
Well, their mother is still a beautiful woman, and
all right.
She sits right behind the scores table.
Thank you, bad boy.
All right, buddy.
Enjoy your broadcast. We'll be right back.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Justice Department is suing Virginia for providing in-state tuition for immigrants who are in the country illegally. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The lawsuit targets a Virginia law that allows non-citizens to access reduced in-state tuition rates at public universities and colleges if they can establish they reside in the state. The Justice Department argues the measure conflicts with federal immigration law in violation of the U.S. Constitution. This week's lawsuit marks the Trump administration's latest effort to challenge state laws that provide benefits to illegal immigrants. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Russia moves powerful missiles into Belarus. Correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
Russia's nuclear-capable Oreshnik missile system has entered active service, Russia's Ministry of Defense says, as negotiators continue to search for a breakthrough in peace talks to end Moscow's war in Ukraine. Troops held a brief ceremony to mark the occasion in neighboring Belarus, where the missiles have been deployed, the ministry says. Russian President Vladimir Putin said earlier in December that the Oreshnik would soon be deployed and warned Moscow will seek to extend its gains in Ukraine if Kyiv and its Western allies reject the Kremlin's demands. The announcement comes at a critical time in the peace talks, with negotiators still searching for a breakthrough on key issues. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The Kennedy Center is ending the year with a new round of artists saying they're canceling scheduled performances after President Trump's name was added to the facility. The institution's president is accusing the performers of making their decisions because of politics. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 94 points, the Nasdaq dropped 55. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What if 2026 could be the best year ever for your retirement? It can when you take control of your financial future with physical precious metals. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD right now and get your free gold rollover kit valued at $49, yours just for calling. More Americans than ever are discovering the power of rolling over a portion of their IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver. With a simple, tax and penalty-free rollover, you can add stability, security, and strength to your retirement. In times of inflation, uncertainty, or market swings, gold has been a steady, tangible, proven store of value. And in 2026, it could be the key to building the retirement you've always imagined. That's why so many people trust Advantage Gold, the #1 rated gold IRA company in America for 10 years running. Call 800-741-GOLD to get your free gold rollover kit. Call 800-741-GOLD and let 2026 be the year you finally take control. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
If you're a victim, you already know it. Flu cases are spiking this season.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there have been at least 7.5 million flu cases this season, as well as at least 81,000 hospitalizations and 3,100 deaths. The CDC says 32 jurisdictions are showing high or very high levels of the flu. Jurisdictions include all 50 states and some territories, as well as the District of Columbia and New York City.
Correspondent Bill Alexander. Stocks fell slightly on Wall Street as trading for the 2025 nudges closer to the finish line. The S&P 500 slipped 0.1% Tuesday, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average and NASDAQ dipped 0.2%. Even with 3 straight days of small losses, the S&P 500 is on track for an annual gain of more than 17%. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and very chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to just 25 degrees. Tomorrow, another beautiful day. Plentiful sunshine. A bit warmer. High temperatures up to 54. For Thursday, it's New Year's Day. We'll welcome in 2026 with sunshine and a high of 59. On Friday, mostly cloudy. We have a slight 20% chance we get a shower and a high topping out at 61. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Hello. All right, we're back with you, Sports Talk Media Network. On a Tuesday night, great to have you with us from the Beach Ball Classic. Thanks to the bad boy, Alan Smothers, who wanted me to remind everybody, if you're interested, that all the games are broadcast on a stream on the Beach Ball Classic website, which is beachballclassic.com. Real complicated, beachballclassic.com. You can go back and watch games that have been played. They're archived. Or you can catch this game, which is in the fourth quarter. It's a 1-point game, so it's a good ball game. And then you can catch the last game of the tournament coming up tonight. It's going to tip about 7:50. So beachballclassic.com, the place to go there for that. And thanks to the bad boy for coming over and joining us. Text message here from Gamecock Tony from Lancaster, just wishing Phil, the plumber, Chris, a happy new year. Another great year of sports talk in 2026. As always, go Cox. Okay. Thank you very much, Tony. Did you say yes or no? Did you say yes or no?
Coaches are ready. Yes.
We
are joined by both. Yes.
What a nice surprise. Well, let's give them their introduction.
Get ready for a deep dive into the X's and O's. This is Chalk Talk with coaches Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, we continue rolling through the postseason of college football. We close the door on Clemson. We have the next round of the playoffs coming up and more bowl games as well. So we still have plenty of football to talk about here on Sports Talk. And we're going to keep our two heroes with us as long as they'll hang in there with us. Let's welcome in for another edition of Chalk Talk on Sports Talk. We have Coach Ellis Johnson with us from the upstate of South Carolina. Good evening, Coach Johnson. How are you?
Good evening, Phil. It's a little chilly up here in the Blue Ridge.
Well, it is December. You know, it's almost January. It's going to get a little chilly up there. Let's welcome in from, I don't know where he is, Coach Chuck Reedy, but we're glad he's with us. Where are you checking in from?
I'm checking in from Mount Pleasant. I haven't been anywhere.
Oh, well, Ellis had bad information then.
No, Ellis putting out bad information. I don't know where he got it from.
Past experience.
Well, so happy to have both of you with us. Should mention also, of course, that Coastal Carolina was the last team in South Carolina to play football this year, and they lose in their bowl game 23-14 to Louisiana Tech. So let's dive into Clemson and Penn State, fellas, and let's begin, Chuck, on the offensive side of things, where it was another struggling day for Clemson, running the football pretty much non-existent. Catching the football, they did a terrible job there. And so what did you see? And, of course, it led to the dismissal of the offensive coordinator. So kind of sum up the offense from what you saw.
It was a microcosm of the whole year. I mean, they make some plays. They do some good things at times, but, they can't run the football. Klubnik, a 3-year starter, takes sacks that, you shouldn't take. I mean, sometimes takes them out of field goal range. I mean, you just can't do those things as a third-year starter. And obviously the drops, but, that's been a problem all year as well.
Yeah. Why did it not work? We're talking, you and I were together the night, first of all, the same day he fired Brandon Streeter, he announced the hiring of Garrett Riley. And, I mean, really the sirens went off all around the upstate like, we have solved our problems. And they did not. And I read things that the two just didn't mesh. Sweeney and Riley, it just didn't turn out to be a good marriage. Why is that the case?
Well, I don't know anything about that, but I would, and if that be the case, I would say this. Coach Sweeney, and whoever he hires next, he needs to let them run the offense and bring in whatever offense it is that they run, whoever he's going to hire. I don't know. I thought that Garrett Riley had complete control of the offense, but maybe not. I don't know. Because, what you've seen the last 3 years, you also saw the year before that when Brandon Streeter was there. So, I don't have the answer. When you looked at their roster before the season, I mean, I think they were number one in the country in returning production. I mean, a third-year starter quarterback, a returning offensive line. I mean, it's hard to explain.
Yeah. Defensively, Ellis, they made a bunch of mistakes. Secondary gave up some big plays. The quarterback from Penn State had a really good day throwing the football. They did a nice job protecting him. They had a 100-yard rusher. The defense has plenty to blame as well for what happened in that game and what happened overall for the season.
Well, just like Chuck said, it's a reflection of the whole season. I don't think they were terrible on defense this year. I think they were very inconsistent. I've said it along the way. I've said, they talk about these NFL players they've got in the front, but they were constantly having to bring pressure and pressure schemes to get pressure on the quarterbacks. And the best individual pass rusher was Held, who came from Purdue.
Yeah.
So that was a little concerning. And when you bring pressure, if it's not extremely effective, then that puts a lot of pressure back out on the secondary. So I think all of it goes hand in hand. And then even the the defensive stats, offensive stats. When your offense is 3 and out and 4 and out and throws the ball 8 out of 10 plays, the clock doesn't run, the ball doesn't move up the field position begins to be tilted. So there's a lot of things that the defense suffered because of the offense. It wasn't very productive. But the biggest thing, I mean, they're going to, I don't care who they bring in. They brought in a Boyles Award winner 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So he was obviously knows he's a good coach. But I think there's a little drop in some talent in some spots. And I don't think in Power 5 football or Power 4 football today, I don't think you can rebuild a program with high school recruiting. I hate it, but I don't think you can.
Portal, then. That's what you're thinking? You got to go heavily into the portal?
Well, I don't know about heavily, but you cannot compete with these other teams if they're going out cherry-picking some really good players who are 23 years, 22 years old. It's just not going to work. You don't have time to develop these kids for 2 years. And I will say this, I don't think Clemson has recruited as well as maybe the crop they were bringing in 10, 15 years ago. It is not bad, but they're not bringing in 2 or 3 difference makers every year. And, maybe that's part of the NIL stuff and buying players and all that too. I don't know. But overall, it just, it was a year where the ACC was arguably not very good at all, really bad. And they had a lot of things coming back, as Chuck said, and it just never got on track. Perhaps the defense was a lot of new stuff they're doing and changing schemes or something. That could be a big thing that improves next year. But, a lot of the things that they wanted corrected and fired the coordinator over, I didn't see much difference.
Fired the secondary coach, Mickey Kahn. That had to be a tough decision for Dabo Swinney because, he and Mickey Kahn they've been together since 1990 when they were teammates at Alabama. And, he's the only change they're making on defense, so it sort of makes it sound like, hey, it's all your fault, so we're firing you, Had to be a tough call for him to make that happen, to make that call.
Well, of course it did. And any time, and Ellis has been there, and I had to do that a couple of times. It's hard, no matter what the connection, but obviously a connection that goes back that far. And I'm not so sure in the wording of it. I don't think he ever said he fired him. It was almost like, I don't know. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He got rid of him, obviously. Yeah. And, and the same thing even with Garrett Riley. It's a tough thing to have to, fire somebody and, and their family. All of those things factor into it, and it's tough, but it's a part of the job. And, he had to do something, talking about Coach Swinney. He had to make some changes. Because the direction of the program certainly is not very good right now. And, and I want to follow up a little bit with Ellison, about the recruiting. Yeah. And you follow recruiting, better than we do. But, at one time they were in the top 5 every year. And if you look where they are now, they're going to be in maybe the top 15, top 20. The recruiting has fallen way off. For whatever reason. And, I think, the talent level is not very good. And, I think if they don't go portal 10 or 15 players, they're going to have a hard time next year.
Interesting. I'm going to throw out a tough question for both of you to ponder along those lines. Clemson has always, under Dabo Swinney, looked for a certain type of character in their players. And that's just what he has built his culture around and built his program around. Players that had certain characteristics off the field, and, of course, being talented football players. But he wanted certain types of players off the field to carry themselves a certain way. And my question is, and I'll start with you, Ellis, does he have to go for a different type of character? A character who's seeking more of the money side of college football today than the academic side, than the cultural experience side that you might get at Clemson?
I don't think you have to sacrifice your core beliefs. you may take a young man that you think you got to spend a little more time on if he's a good enough football player. All of them got some kind of problems. I mean, they're teenagers. We all have had them. There's going to be some problems. So if you think you're going to avoid having to deal with that kind of thing because you recruited the right guys, that ain't going to happen. But, I think I understand your question.
Yeah.
All the kids who are recruited now want money, and Clemson doesn't mind paying money. The problem now, I don't think he's going to sacrifice what he believes in as an overall character of an individual. Now, if he thinks he can affect one and help him and so forth, I could see him taking a kid who's had some issues before. But he's not going to put up with that kind of stuff. And I think in some ways they have benefited from that. It makes it a little bit harder to find the great ones because, if there's 50 great players out there, at least 30 of them are going to have, they're going to be a little hard to handle probably. But that's been my experience. But I don't think he has to wholesale start bringing in outlaws and bums and kids that only want to play, get money and get in trouble off the field. I don't think that has to be done.
Well, Chuck, let me throw it at you this way. Except for when they had a little string of incidents there where guys were driving their cars 90 miles an hour down Highway 123 or, Highway 93 and, unfortunately wrecking and hurting other people. They had a little string of stuff there. It's been really clean up there. I use Georgia as an example. I would say that, Kirby Smart doesn't necessarily recruit the All-American kid from a character standpoint. I'm saying that based on the police blotter up there. I mean, they have an unusual amount of players who get arrested for one reason or another. But they win championships, and those players help them win championships more often than not. So, and nobody's mad at Kirby Smart up there for doing it. So, do you have to go that route?
Well, no. I mean, Dabo won championships too. 2 of them. With character kids.
But that was before the age of the portal and before the age of paying them, straight up, just flat out paying them.
So I don't think he's going to change his beliefs on who he recruits or how he recruits. I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, and I admire him for that. Now, obviously, they're going to have to do something to get better players. And, I don't know, like Ellis said, they pay players just like everybody else does. So, I mean, they can get in that game if they want to. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of if they want to and how much, how involved they want to get in it.
It is another edition of Chalk Talk with Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson. This would be our New Year's Eve edition, or also known as New Year's
Adam.
Yeah, New Year's Adam. Thank you, New Year's Adam. I forgot the Bible there for a second. I was thinking of Cain. I was thinking of you two as Cain and Abel, but and not Adam and Eve. I don't want to think of you as Adam and Eve, but maybe more as Cain and Abel. So it looks like nothing's official, but when Larry Williams at Tiger Illustrated puts something out, and he's got his sources, and he hints very strongly, it usually comes to pass. So it looks like it's going to be Chad Morris going back to Clemson as the OC. Ellis, what do you think about that? You can go home again, and he's available. He's not coaching anywhere else. So what about a reunion of Chad Morris there with the Clemson offense?
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know what to be exact. I mean, your sources would be a whole lot better than mine. But I don't think it would be a bad idea at all, unless it's something that I don't know. I didn't get to coach against him. He came in 11, and that was my last year at Carolina. So that's the only time I think that I coached against him. But I think he did a heck of a job there. And I will say this. I mean, it wasn't an extremely physical offense, but he would run that ball, and he'd run it vertically right up that line of scrimmage. And so I think at least we talk about one element, they can't run the football. They will have some stuff in their scheme to keep the coach with some traps, counters, gap plays, that kind of thing that I think helps the offensive linemen be a little more aggressive. And, I mean, they'll put the tailback back there in the pistol, and they'll run it downhill. The other thing, it'll take some shots deep. and it's easier to do, in my opinion, off those power action runs. But I think he was a very good coach, and they were immediately when he came in as offensive coordinator the previous time, he gave him a shot in the arm, and they had 4 or 5 good years with that.
Yeah, as I recall, Ellis, during your time at South Carolina, that would have been 2008, 2011, before you left to go to Southern Miss for a quick trip down to Hattiesburg. You did a pretty good job, though, against that Chad Morris offense.
Well, he wasn't there but 1 year when I was at Carolina.
That's what I mean. You did a good job that one time.
I had some good players too.
Well, yeah, it helped
That's the one thing I forgot. Sign Clowney and then take off the Southern Miss. That ain't real smart.
I just see where.
Yeah, I mean we beat them bad, but they had a good football team. But we had a bunch of really good football players.
Yeah, you had NFL talent. Chuck, Chad Morris, back to Clemson. What do you think?
You know, I don't know about that. I'm surprised, but you know, he, like Ellis said, he did a good job when he came there the first time. But he also had, I think he had Deshaun Watson, and you know, he had good players. You know, you know, he didn't do real well at Southern Miss and didn't do real well at Arkansas. You know, so I don't know. I think it's I'm surprised at it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Now, when you look at Clemson's situation going into next season, Chuck, offensively, I mean, no matter who you put there at offensive coordinator, you got to have a quarterback. And, I mean, I think there's real reason to question whether or not they have a real quarterback.
Well, there's a big question.
Yeah.
And this will be the biggest test of Dabo Swinney of his philosophy, because from what I understand in recruiting, he tells them, you know, we're going to recruit you, we're going to develop you, and we're not going to bring in somebody through the portal when it's your turn. We'll see, because obviously it's his turn, and you know, I think there's a lot of question marks about him. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see with a new coordinator whether they're going to go in the portal for a quarterback.
Well, I mean, if it is Chad Morris, his son is petitioning for a 7th year after having a 3,000-yard passing year at Virginia. I'm not saying that one would bring the other, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks in that portal. I mean, if you're looking for a quarterback, Ellis, I would throw the money at the Hoover kid from TCU, whose brother, by the way, is a baseball player at South Carolina. But with Lenora Sellers coming back, I don't think Kendall Briles could bring his quarterback with him to South Carolina. But, I mean, I would throw – this is a guy that's thrown for 10,000 yards in his career. And I know there's more to it than just that. But, I mean, that's the kind of guy I think I'd go spend the big dollars on.
Yeah, I don't. You keep up with recruiting. I don't know anything about it anymore. I think y'all are right. That better be at least one of his choices or one of his possibilities. Is he has to go that route? I've seen the other kid, the young kid, practice. He got in. I think he got in late against Furman. That kid's got a lot of talent. I just don't know if it's going to translate fast enough to that level and throwing the football and running their whole package. He is really dynamic. But the other thing now, and you got better sources again, I would be not shocked if this is not the end of the changes on staff, simply because I think that there may be some evaluation going on recruiting, some other issues. But that's another thing I think. My philosophy, I just believe you bring in a coordinator and tell me, hey, here's your 5 assistant coaches. I don't know if that's a good situation to get into.
Yeah. But that's how, Chuck, that's how Swinney has operated. I mean, he's hired like Riley didn't go out and hire other offensive assistants. He inherited the ones that were already on the staff, and that was it. I mean, he didn't bring anybody new on the staff offensively.
And that may be why it seems like it never changes. I mean, Dabo has this idea that, this is a Clemson offense, maybe it's about to, I think they're at a point where they need to try somebody else's offense because, it's been the same old thing. And, and I think what Shane Beamer did is, I give him an A+++, and hiring a coordinator, letting him bring his offensive line coach, and then you go out and get a heck of a running back coach. Give him an A+ for the off season so far. But, Dabo's still got a ways to go.
Yeah, you're wondering if South Carolina, Ellis, is maybe winning the offseason, even though they didn't win the game against Clemson, and Clemson went to the bowl game. But South Carolina, the moves that they've made have certainly look very positive, including the hiring of Deion Barnes from Penn State to be the new defensive ends coach.
We'll all know in about, 11 months, 12 months?
You're so practical.
Well,
he's Mr. Practical.
When you've seen a movie 10 times, you kind of know what the ending is.
All right, real quick before we run out of time, we got the next round of the playoffs: Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana, Ole Miss, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State. If you can do it in like 20 seconds, Ellis, tell us your 4 winners. Who's going to emerge?
All right, I've got them, and I've got them written down just to show how positive I am. But I will diverge. I've got them written in pencil.
Okay.
But, I think Oregon is going to beat. I think Oregon's going to beat Texas Tech. I think Indiana hangs on against Alabama. I think Georgia beats Ole Miss, and I think Ohio State beats Miami. I think Georgia beats Ohio State, and I think Oregon beats Indiana. And I think Georgia wins the national championship.
With all those
remember,
crooks.
I do have it written in pencil.
With all those crooks. Real quick, Chuck, who you got in the 4?
I got Ohio State. I'm taking Texas Tech in an upset. I'm taking Alabama in an upset, and Georgia.
With all those crooks. Yep. You better get dirty these days. You better get dirty. That's all I got to say. You got to get your hands dirty. Maybe dirtier than you guys ever got them back in the good old days. Fellas, Happy New Year.
I doubt that.
We love you guys. Happy New Year. Don't party too hard, Ellis, over the next couple of days. We'll talk to you next week. We'll be right back.
On Point Weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and very chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to just 25 degrees. Tomorrow, another beautiful day. Plentiful sunshine. A bit warmer. High temperatures up to 54. For Thursday, it's New Year's Day. We'll welcome in 2026 with sunshine and a high of 59. On Friday, mostly cloudy. We have a slight 20% chance we get a shower and a high topping out at 61. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted at Flight Deck Restaurant. We are now introducing a fast and price breaker lunch special menu. Pick any item for only $9.95. Here's what we have to offer. Single grilled pork chops, spaghetti with house salad garlic bread, single grilled chicken, chicken salad cold plate, chicken tenders, small Greek salad, grilled bacon and cheese, small chef salad, pepperoni pita pizza, small chicken tender salad. All meals except salads come with one side. Come and enjoy a delicious lunch for only $9.95. Serving from 11 to 2 every day. Flight Deck Restaurant in Lexington. Thanks, y'all, and God bless.
$1 million. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A newly unsealed order in the criminal case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia reveals that high-level Justice Department officials pushed for his indictment only after he was mistakenly deported and then ordered returned to the U.S. Abrego Garcia has pleaded not guilty to charges of human smuggling. He's seeking to have the case dismissed on the grounds that the prosecution is vindictive. Lee Enterprises has announced a compromise with the billionaire investor who tried to take over the nation's third-largest newspaper chain this year. The deal is intended to help stabilize the company's finances with a $50 million investment and set Lee up for the future. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 94 points, the Nasdaq dropped 55. More details at srnnews.com.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local.
Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
Step into summer with no unwanted guest in your home.
At Modern Exterminating Company, we're not just experts in pest control, we're your neighbors.
Lynn and Melanie Matthews here. Modern Exterminating has been part of this community since 1955, offering unmatched experience with the family touch.
Trust us to keep your home pest-free with care and dedication that only a local family-owned business can provide.
Experience the Modern Exterminating difference. Call us at 765-2315 or visit pestfreesc.com.
Let us keep your home truly yours.
When your temperatures swing, your comfort shouldn't. At Sweet Comfort Services, we make sure your system's ready for anything. Get our $99 preventative maintenance, a full inspection and tune-up that keeps your equipment efficient, reliable, and safe. Thinking it's time for an upgrade? We offer estimates on new Goodman and American Standard systems. You'll get honest advice, fair pricing, and expert installation. No gimmicks, no surprises. Call 803-331-8143 or visit sweetcomfortservices.com to schedule today.
Life's busy, but that shouldn't mean putting your car care on hold. At Team 1 Sudduth Automotive on Millwood Avenue, you can drop off your vehicle outside business hours and count on our certified technicians to do the rest. From oil changes to engine overhauls, we make it easy for you and your car. Enjoy nationwide warranty, top quality parts, and a team that really cares. You can even visit team1automotive.com and book an appointment at your convenience. Team 1 Sudduth Automotive, we fix everything. That's team1automotive.com.
This Christmas, give the gift of the outdoors to the sportsman in your family. At Palmetto State Armory, find gifts that spark adventure, from rugged boots, cozy jackets, and outdoor clothing essentials, to must-have items like Yeti coolers, turtle box speakers, and Costa sunglasses. Whether you're shopping for the seasoned hunter or the next generation of outdoor lovers, Palmetto State Armory has everything you need to make memories this Christmas and beyond. Palmetto State Armory. Give the gift of the outdoors this year.
Thanks again. As always, there's nothing better on the radio than Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson. I mean, seriously, they could do a 2-hour show on football every night. Entertaining, informative, honest, especially Chuck. Ellis holds back a little bit because he still has a son playing college football at Clemson, so he's a little more reserved, but not Chuck. He's got nothing to hold back. No reason to hold back. Appreciate those guys being with us and have them with us again next week. You heard them talking about the teams they like in the playoffs. Meantime, we've officially closed the book on the football season in South Carolina. We have no more high school games. We have no all-star games left in football. We have no more college games left involving South Carolina teams. All that's left are the few players who will be playing in some all-star games in high school and college outside the state of South Carolina. So we've closed the door, and closing the door behind them on our state, on our football season, the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. They had it going for a while. Seemed like they were dominating. They were up, halftime 14-3 before losing to Louisiana Tech 23-14. Happy to have with us the voice of the Chanticleers, but better known as, and most importantly, the co-host of Sports Talk, the one and only, Chris Bergen. Welcome, Bergie. How was Shreveport?
Hello, sir. Did not realize I was going to be writing the eulogy on the
football season in the state of South Carolina. This is a massive responsibility for which I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
Well, to answer the question, it's been a short trip here to Shreveport. We got in last evening, just long enough to have a little dinner and enjoy the sights maybe for a few minutes, and woke up this morning, played the game, and now waiting on the charter flight to get here to take us home.
Well, I listened to you guys, you and Lane. Enjoyed listening to you guys along the beach on the Chanticleer Sports Network. Very entertaining. You guys do a fantastic job, of course, and with Joe Katz. And listening, as it sounded like Coastal had this thing in hand at halftime. Things were kind of going their way, and then second half, a complete turnaround. And one thing that Lane said, and you brought it out as well, you guys, Chanticleers, were running the ball on first down religiously over and over again, and Louisiana Tech was ready for that, and they were putting you guys – or putting the Chanticleers behind the chains, it seemed like, in the second half. Their defense, La Tech's defense, was just too good.
They were outstanding in the second half, and Phil, it was almost like the two teams went into halftime and changed uniforms, because you're right, first half Coastal's cruising right along, and actually probably should have had a bigger than 14-3 lead in the first half. Louisiana Tech could not do much of anything. You get the late touchdown to Dominic Nicely on a beautiful pass play for Coastal. He scored from 20 yards out. I made the cardinal sin as a play-by-play announcer. I called Javon Edwards with the catch. Dominic will probably never forgive me for that, so I apologize to him, but you hate to do that. And then in the second quarter, you get another beautiful throw from Tad Hudson, who played lights out in the first half. He couldn't miss a pass. I mean, he was terrific at the quarterback position for Coastal. He gets a touchdown to Robbie Washington of 16 yards, and Coastal goes up 14-3, gets a stop late in the second quarter, and gets a punt return for a touchdown from Bryson Graves. Wes Lawrence standouts, who plays for Coastal now as a wide receiver and also punt return specialist, but it's called back for a hold. So as we talked in the postgame, this game, sort of like the entire season, was what if. Well, what if Bryson's punt return is not called back for a hold, which I'm sure it was a hold, because between the two teams there was a combined, if I got this right, 25 penalties. So I'm pretty sure it occurred. They seem to call everything. But I don't think it was a situation where it played a major factor in the return. But nonetheless, you're up 21-3 at halftime, and what you do at that point is you take Louisiana Tech out of its comfort zone, because they are a running team. Very good running team, very good run defensive team, but they're only down 14-3. They get a turnover and a field goal to open up the third quarter. They're back to within 8, and then all of a sudden it's a ball game. They were able to score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and Coastal just could not do anything in the second half. I think about 70 yards of total offense. So just a complete reversal of fortune from the first half to the second.
Wow. Disappointing way to end the season and close the book on the Tim Beck regime, even though he wasn't there to coach, but it was, what was left of his staff. And it's such a tough thing. And we saw it with Clemson, and we see it with every bowl team now except for those in the playoffs. You're a shell of yourself by the time you get to the bowl game. You lose so many players to opt-outs. Coaches change every day. And I don't know. I don't see how the fans – I'm glad I'm not a fan. I don't see how the fans enjoying it. I mean, you're rooting for the – I guess it's the case where you're truly rooting for the name on the front of the jersey and not the back, because the name on the back of the jersey changes drastically between the end of the regular season and the bowl game.
The comedian Jerry Seinfeld, I think, did a stand-up routine one time, long time ago, and he was actually talking about NBA and free agency in the NBA, and he said, basically, you're rooting for uniforms now. And that's exactly you're right. And Coastal, to its credit, despite everything that had happened from the James Madison game right after Thanksgiving to today, for the most part, the majority of the guys stuck around. They only had about 3 or 4 opt-outs, guys that were going in the transfer portal. So for the most part, I mean, Coastal guys wanted to play, and I think part of it, Phil, is the respect they have for Jeremiah Johnson, the defensive coordinator who turned interim head coach today, because they love that guy. Now, unfortunately for them, they only got to play for him for a season, and now he's off to be the defensive backs coach at Kansas State starting. He was telling me last night he's probably leaving the first part of next week because, transfer portal set to open, so they got to get to work. But nonetheless, I think it's a credit to the players on the Coastal team that they actually came out. And so one thing we talked about in the pregame show that I wanted to see from CCU today was just be competitive. If you lose the ball game, Louisiana Tech's probably a better team. If you lose again, that's fine. But they had not been competitive the last couple of ball games. starting with the second half of the Georgia Southern game and then certainly at South Carolina and JMU. They were competitive today, and I think it's a credit to those players despite everything else that was going on around them.
Yeah. So now the new regime steps in, and he's putting his staff together. And when there's a change in coaches, of course, you wipe the slate clean, and there's new optimism and new energy and new excitement. Are you, from being around Teal Nation, are you starting to feel that from some of the administrators and some of the fans as well?
Oh, I think so, and they're very high on Ryan Beard, one of the younger coaches in college football that's quickly made a name for himself. He got Missouri State Bowl eligible in their first season at the FBS level this year. They actually lost to Arkansas State, which is a conference rival of Coastal's. But I tell you, and so excited that Chance Miller, the AD, at his introductory press conference a couple of weeks back, actually said, we're here to compete for Sun Belt Conference championships in the college football playoff. So you want to set the bar extremely high for your new head coach. Chance certainly did. But I think he's a guy that's going to come in and infuse some really, really good energy into the program. But the problem is, Phil, I mean, let's be honest. The guys that we saw play just about 2 hours ago over at Independence Stadium, 70 of them probably won't be back next season. So, I mean, you can say all the things you want about what goals you have, but when you don't know what your roster is going to look like if it's a massive turnover, I don't know what's fair. I mean, could this be a 10-2 team next year? Sure. Could it be perhaps a 3-9 team? Who knows? I mean, that's possible too.
Yeah, I mean, when you change coaches, it's a roll of the dice. It's a roll of the dice, and it doesn't always come up the way you want it to come up. So, well, while I've got you on the horn, and you've got time to kill since you're in a delay before your team departs, and how'd you like Shreveport? Did you get a chance to enjoy anything around that, as you put it, northwestern Louisiana city that sits hard against what river is that? That's not the Mississippi, is it?
No, it's not. No, we're further west, and I can't remember. We stayed at one of the casinos. The team did at Sam's Town Hotel and Casino. Really nice hotel. I didn't go into the casino. I'm not much of a gambler. I take my life into my own hands when I'm doing the Sports Talk Pick'em Challenge. That's about as much gambling as I do. So I actually went to bed fairly early because it's been a long day yesterday getting out here. So we really didn't get a chance to enjoy much because we've only been here about 24 hours. The team, it seemed like they had a tremendous time. They got to do the philanthropic type stuff that all the bowls do. They went to one of the hospitals here in town to meet with some of the kids. I think they actually went over to a place that works with adults who deal with certain mental issues and different things. They got to play basketball and that kind of stuff with them, which I thought was really cool. And then their version of Top Golf that I think our listeners back in South Carolina know what Top Golf is. This place actually is sort of a putt-putt type place, video game simulator and that type thing. They got to do that as well. So it sounds like from a team perspective, the Independence Bowl trip was awfully good. From the radio team's perspective, we haven't been here long enough to know one way or the other.
Yeah, that's usually the case. But, you mentioned the bowl trip, and they get some gifts, and they do philanthropic stuff. And, I mean, that's good. That's all good that you still get to do that in bowl season. We don't really know how much longer bowl season is going to exist. Some bowls are going away. How some bowls continue to exist, they're not drawing anybody. So the money is coming from the advertisers, the TV sponsors, and that sort of stuff. I don't know how much longer that can continue, but you'd hate to see that wiped out. The other thing I was going to say, you mentioned Chance Miller talking about, getting in the college football playoff, winning the Sun Belt. I mean, after what happened this year, I got to believe if you're not in the Power Four or whatever it becomes in the future, I don't think there's going to be a spot for you in the college football playoff. I mean, there might be another version of the college football playoff for that division, which I think, isn't that what they would really want? Let's play for a national championship amongst equals instead of, okay, we might get lucky and win one game, but we're not winning 3-4 games and win the national championship. We don't have the talent. We don't have the depth to be able to do that.
No, in reality, I think there are a couple of things that I think are true. One is going to be that the Power 5, Power 4 is never going to allow what happened this year. The ACC is going to fix its tiebreaker. They may be jettisoned out. because they're not going to allow two teams from the group of 5 to get in. Secondly, I think you're probably right. We'll eventually get to a situation where the Power 4 conferences just say, look, we may all be FBS, but that's like saying, Walmart and the little mom-and-pop store on the corner are retail stores. Yeah, that's true. They are retail stores, but Walmart has so much, they can sell things cheaper. They can bring in much greater inventory just because of the size of their business. You bring up, should the group of 5 maybe play for their own championship? The only problem with that is most of those teams had that opportunity before when they were at the FCS level. They could have played then. And so it's going to take some time to convince schools like Coastal and James Madison and, Arkansas State, whomever, Louisiana Tech, that's a better route for them to go when they can look and see all the amount of money that's there. I think the one thing that will fix its problem itself, and we won't have to worry about it, is when the SEC and the Big Ten say, look, this is what we're doing moving forward. You can either jump on the boat with us or go do your own thing.
Yeah. I mean, Coastal's not going to spend the kind of money it takes to beat an SEC team, a top SEC team, a top Big Ten team, and Louisiana Tech's not going to spend. You mentioned that was a great analogy that you used. Yeah, the beautiful thing about Walmart, for example, compared to your mom and pop store, you can go to Walmart at 8 o'clock at night and you can buy underwear and get your oil changed all at the same time. You just can't do that at your local establishment. That's the beautiful thing about Walmart. So, okay.
And out here in Louisiana, probably your Walmart will be able to serve you a margarita as well.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, you did a great job, man. You have been on such a. I know you just want to get home and exhale a little bit.
Well, I will for a day because Thursday I've got basketball again. We've got a doubleheader, men's and women's basketball on Thursday, and then one again on Saturday. So I transition right back into basketball season, jump full-fledged into Sunbelt play. So, yeah, this is a wonderful part of the season. Crossover year is always a lot of fun, and I enjoy it or I wouldn't do it, clearly. But, I appreciate you guys listening today because we did have a lot of fun despite the outcome.
Yeah, it was great job all around. You have a safe trip home, and we'll talk to you tomorrow one way or the other.
Look forward to it, Phil. Thank you, guys. Night, Josh.
Happy New Year to you, Chris Bergen, voice of Coastal, but more importantly, co-host of Sports Talk. He'll be back with us. If he gets rested up, he might be with us tomorrow night, or he might just take the rest of the week off. It's totally up to him. We are live tomorrow night, off on Thursday, and back on Friday, and recruiting is coming up next.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
This holiday season, Founders Federal Credit Union is giving you more than cheer. Open a home equity line of credit by December 31st and get up to $750 towards closing costs. Perfect for home upgrades, paying off debt, or those big purchases you've been dreaming about. Don't wait, this offer ends soon. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. No Mr. Qualification required. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, The Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel it. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel it. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
And I tell you what, is there not a better piece of music than that to lead up to any sports event? Love it. Black Eyed Peas makes me hungry thinking about it. All right. The only thing better than that piece of music, of course, is the piece of music that leads us into our recruiting report here on Sports Talk.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
And Seawells remains on holiday vacation through the end of the week, but they'll be back next week raring to go. So you be ready with them Tuesday through Friday for a delicious daily luncheon buffet from 11 till 2. And, of course, 2026, you're going to have some very special events. I don't know, 2026, is that the year the plumber gets married? In 2020? Well, you know what? Before we do that, of course.
It would be a bit quick. I mean, got to take things one step at a time.
Well, I still think you should first kiss a woman who's not related to you, like a mother or an aunt. A woman that does not share blood with you, that's not related. I think that should be the next step. Have we done that yet in your freshman year in college?
No comment.
Okay. I do expect if you do get married in 26 or you have a special event, you're going to call Seawells and let them handle all the hard work of catering for you.
No question, for sure. I'll have roast beef, but you're not invited. I mean,
That's fine. I would turn it down anyway. But I'm talking about the other people. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people with money. I'm talking about the real people out there. Phone number for Seawells, 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. All right. By the way, have the toilet ready to run here in just a little bit. South Carolina defensive coordinator linebackers coach Clayton White has an excellent shot at landing linebacker Jabias Smith, 6'3", 220 of Swainsboro, Georgia. He's a middle linebacker, a nationally recruited prospect. He tells us the Gamecocks in Georgia currently sit as his top two, with a decision coming in mid-January. And he said the Gamecocks are one of the first to offer. Every time he goes down there, he feels like he's at home. He loves the coaching staff. He loves Coach White. They have a close bond. They like how he plays downhill. If you look at this guy, you look at his picture, he's a physical-looking guy. He's the kind of guy you want at linebacker, just looking at him. He's taught with Shane Beamer, and so he really likes South Carolina, but he likes Georgia too. He's been to both a lot. He says he'll visit USC, Georgia, and Texas A&M in January. He's also still considering Texas, Ohio State, and Tennessee. No number one just yet. He'll be looking for a great coaching staff, energy, and which school is staying in contact the most as he tries to make the decision. This season, 72 tackles, 8 tackles for loss in 9 games for his career, 75 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. He's also rushed for 1,114 yards and 24 touchdowns in his career, averaging 6.5 yards per carry. Okay, now transfers. Let's flush them out. Former Clemson wide receiver Tony Stellato is transferring from Kentucky Furman tight end Joshua Burrell, a Blythewood graduate, is transferring as a graduate student from Furman. He started his career at Florida State. This season, he had 36 catches for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. We're not going to be harsh on him because he's graduated from Furman. He's graduated from graduate school at Furman, so he's got to move on. I don't think there's anything left for him academically at Furman. Linebacker Caden Henderson of Tampa says he'll attend the Clemson Junior Day in early March. And then there's this story. Further proof that in today's world of college football, what appears to be strange is no longer strange. Every day we get something that leaves you scratching your head. So now there is a player by the name of Grant Segrin. He's an offensive tackle who has been at Oklahoma State. Well, he's entering the transfer portal, John. And he has set 4 official visits to schools he's interested in. He told On3 he's going to visit Auburn January 2nd through the 3rd, Northwestern January 5th through 6th, Arkansas to be determined. He's also going to take a visit to Oklahoma State. So he's going to visit the school that he's already been playing for. Now, I do know they have a new coaching staff and all that coming in, and maybe you could say, okay, he's visiting to get to know the new coaching staff together. But, I mean, come on. That's weird to be taking a visit to the school that you've already been playing for, but you're trying to leave. You're planning to leave, but you might circle back and end up back at the same school. I think that deserves a special double flush. Took a little while.
Well, you know, it's on the same computer that our music's about to come from, so you know, I just have to fix it.
Well,
it's good.
We had to let the water pressure build up a little bit because that was going to be a big double flush. So,
well,
right, there you go with recruiting. There you go, recruiting. South Carolina's finished off Albany 96-67. Looks like everybody who got on the floor scored for the Gamecocks. They shot 60% for the game, 14 of 30 from 3, 16 of 17 from the line. It don't matter. The real season for the Gamecocks begins on Saturday against Vanderbilt. So we'll see what they're all about. Clemson plays at Syracuse tomorrow. Have a great night. See you then.